So, I went into this movie with absolutely no big expectation. Actually, I never even watched a trailer for this movie before dragging my poor friend along to like sit in the theater because I thought, hey, it's Disney and this looks cool. I was so wrong. Let's be honest, Disney does well with animated films. Like, I've never doubted Disney. No. Never once have I ever doubted Disney's decisions.
Dearly beloved.
So I watched the film, so you don't have to. Listen to me. You really don't have to, because right now I wish I didn't. Now, honestly, after the film was done, listen, I looked up on Google to just see what the reviews was, and it got a 1.9 star rating. So that should really tell you everything you need to know. So Strange World has officially ended Disney's animated cinema score rating streak by scoring lower than any film in 31 years. That should tell you a lot. So if you want a movie review without spoilers, please watch till here. And if you want with spoilers after this, actually I'm not really spoiling anything because it's really not worth your time. Watch here. So here we are without spoilers. So Strange World is centered around the Clade family, and these persons were originally explorers who wanted to help their city called Avalonia. And the city was originally powerless, but upon the discovery of Pando, a plant, Searcher Clyde, the son of Jaeger Clyde, legendary explorer, harvested, developed it to bring power and technology to their city. Meanwhile, the story of this film looks at parenting styles, toxic masculinity, passive masculinity, and maybe the value of communication across generational gaps. In the end, all the themes somehow must come to work together in order to save the world that they love and cherish. So who are the main characters? The main characters are the three generations of Clades. So let's start with the man himself, Jaeger Clade. So Jaeger Clade is Searcher's larger-than-life explorer father, and he's like one of those guys you could see on the cover of Times magazine who wears a white shirt and it's ripped open and he's fighting an alligator. That's kind of the persona that he gives off. But he has this amazing dream of venturing beyond the mountain ranges that surround Avalonia. And his dream somehow becomes an obsession, even when a major misstep landed him in a strange world far from his family. That misstep allowed him to miss over 25 years of his life with his wife and child. And in the end, you realize Jaeger's true dream wasn't exactly just exploring, but he just wanted to leave a legacy and somewhat of an honor for his child and his family. And sadly, that obsessive dream drives him to push his son away further and further away. The second character is Searcher Clyde, and I feel like they gave him this name because of what Jaeger's obsession was as an explorer. So Searcher is quite the opposite of his father. He's like a treasure member of the Avalonian community, having discovered this revolutionary plant-based power source called Pando. And so most of the days he's a farmer. He plants and he provides energy to the entire community. Above all though, Searcher is a family man. He loves a spontaneous middle of the kitchen dance with his wife, Meridian, and he vows long ago that he'll do anything for his son. Searcher had worked hard to create a solid, secured life for his family. So Searcher is caught between the legacy of his great explorer dad of all time and his own legacy that he established almost in the contrast of his own father, who we can see is a rambling, fearless explorer who just never went home. So Searcher sets out on to be the opposite, however, he's so rooted in his family. And finally, the third character would be Ethan Clade. Now, Ethan is like a typical teenager who rolls his eyes when his parents smooches, like who doesn't do that? And he lights up when his friends visit, and he gets completely tongue-tied when his boy crush Diazo is around. So he's 16 years old and he longs for some kind of adventure that echoes that, and his goal is to like get outside the farm that he's living at. Sadly, somehow, the downfall of this, there's not really much depth to Ethan's character. We know that he's openly gay and he has a crush named Diazo, but other than that, we don't know much about his personality, or even his personal struggles that he wants to overcome. The struggles we see Ethan face are placed on him by his father, and indirectly due to his conflict with his own father, that creates more struggles. And even in that, we don't really see much of a confident change in Ethan in the end of the film. He just somewhat finds the career path that he kind of wants to. It might look like being like a future explorer, like his own grandpa. Now for the spoilers. I don't think these are spoilers. Thank you. Okay, so time for the spoilers, because there's nothing to spoil. So, please, guys, it's really not worth watching. So, after 25 years passed, the 25-year period passed, the plant gives life to Avalonia, and they make flying vehicles, light, power, just because of this plant. So Searcher now has a family and he's in an interracial marriage. So Searcher, who kept saying, hey, he isn't a good explorer like his dad, or he doesn't want to be like his dad, is now on a mission to save Pando. So this is where the story starts to go downhill. Just as dark as a tunnel, they went down to the center of the earth, or to this, wait for it, strange world. There are no good jokes. Actually, the writing is really not the best. I'm actually in the movie theater and no one is laughing. Not even a chuckle. Not even from the children. And so the jokes kept getting worse and worse. There were some very awkward long pauses that I had to wonder if like the audio designer made a mistake and just never included sound. For the storyline, somewhere closer to the end, we start to realize that Pando is symbolic of oil in the real world today, as fossil fuels are our main source of energy. Just like how we see the other side of the mountain at the end was like a real living organism. We were on the back of a turtle actually. It was trying to show us that the earth is a living organism and there is some things that we do to hurt it. Sadly, you don't even get this understanding of the film until the very end of the movie. There's so many tropes that I honestly, jokes and stories and storylines, it's like you can predict almost everything and anything in this movie. I kind of feel like Disney was trying to say, hey, there are some people who don't believe in climate change and, our actions are destroying the world, or that the earth is fighting this battle on its own and we need to fight alongside it. And listen, those are good messages. It's just that they weren't really, they weren't really shown deeply in the movie. It wasn't very impactful and you really never really got it. Even at the end, you were still a little bit confused. When you think about it, if you're really thinking about how deep probably Disney was trying to get, was that there is a scene where one eye opens and I think it was like a representation of our own eyes being open to what we were even doing, right? And even when it seems like it's too late, the world can spring back. It was also noted that Searcher was destroying what he thought was his legacy with Pando, and he realized in the end that he was saving his son's future, and the future he wanted for Ethan was to bloom and continue to make his own decisions. The reason Strange World is a bad movie overall is because the storytelling was really bad. There's no coherent plot. by the end, you realize Disney was trying to get the message that we're destroying the planet, but we're living on. But it just feels like loose threads are hanging off the edge, pretty much. It didn't feel like it had a good ending. You wonder what was the whole point of the film. The character of Ethan and the whole Clade family needed a lot of work. Ethan is more... His character was based more on his sexuality, and and the film somewhat made that his whole identity when it really wasn't. I'm pretty sure there are so many other things. I wanted to see more of his personal struggles. I wanted to see some more character development, just some more depth to him, honestly. I feel Disney could have done a lot more, and it was such a missed opportunity, especially with so much diversity within the film itself. Even for the marketing for this film, I felt was really a miss. Actually, I didn't know much about this film or that Disney was even making it until I saw a picture of it on the actual day that I was going to watch it. I'm not saying that even for the Ethan character, the movie was bad because it had like an openly gay character in it, like Lightyear actually did that. However, they kept going on and on and on about Ethan's crush, and even his grandfather gave him toxic advice as to how to woo his crush. Very toxic advice, actually. And seeing Disney clearly said this animated film was for the age group of, 6 to 9, I feel the character of Ethan should have been handled a lot better and developed a lot more. Listen, I love Disney movies. I really do, especially after a film like Encanto. Listen, and Turning Red, I had so much hopes for Strange World. But sadly, Disney earned that 1.9 rating that was on Google, and truly I believe they deserve this. The animation is good. It's Disney. It's honestly good. The animation is good, but the story felt like a student film coming to life, and the lack of depth to it. It brought back, as I said, a lot of Disney tropes and all the Disney conflicts you can expect, and nothing felt new. I could almost predict everything in this film. So, my whole thought and rating, if I was to give Strange World a rating, would have been probably like a 3 out of 10. And it sounds harsh, but it was really hard to sit through. But it is what it is. So, if you actually like this review and you still decide that you're still gonna go see Strange World, go in there with an open mind, because it's pretty strange.